was talking to my dad on the way here, and he was like, "Who are you having on the podcast today?" And I was like, "My friend Coke." And he was like, "Who?" And I was like, "My friend Coke." And he goes, "Well, what's his deal? Is he a comic?" And I said, "Yeah, but you probably don't know him compared to some of my other friends. Like, you probably just have never met him. But he has some crazy story about like Muslims and skydiving with the Prince of Saudi Arabia." My dad goes, "I can't wait to hear that story." Yeah. I'm like, okay, good. Well, if my dad's interested, then maybe everybody else will get, maybe it'll go viral, you know?
Not to brag, but just saying you have a guy named Coke on, probably get some eyes.
Yeah, well.
I can say that story. I'm like, what the fuck?
Well, welcome to Room for Rent podcast with me, Maria Bruggere. Today we have Coke on, my good friend Coke, who I have known now for like 4 years.
4 to 5 years.
We met on the open mic scene pre-pandemic, and just, I don't know, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I mean,
You're
first
a comedian.
of all, thank you for having me on. Yes, I'm a fellow comedian like you. You know that. Okay, we made each other laugh, all right? But congrats to you on the show, Room for Rent. I think this is a beautiful spot, and I'm happy you're making these moves.
Yeah, no, it's good. I'm happy to have you on because your comedy is like basically storytelling, more or less. Like you're a big storyteller, so I knew when I started the podcast, I was like, I have to have Coke on because I'm sure you have some crazy roommate story, whether it was living with a girlfriend or like some crazy parent story, or since you moved to LA, I feel like you've lived with a few different people.
Life is crazy.
So,
yeah, absolutely. Life is fucking nuts.
I mean, I feel like we need, before we get into the story, we need to set up like a little bit of who you are, because you're from Florida.
I am from Florida. Don't mind the Spurs jersey. Okay, I'm a huge Heat fan. Okay. Yeah.
What's the Heat jersey that you wear?
I wear all of them, but I got Dwayne Wade, I got Shaq, I got Alonzo Mourning, I got everyone Bosch.
I feel like I usually see you in the morning jersey.
Yeah.
But why are you not wearing the Miami Heat jersey?
I just knew you were gonna dress like this, and I was like, I want to coordinate with you.
Yeah, we're like matching. For those of you who are not watching, he's in black and white and camo, and I'm in black and white with a little bit of blue.
Yeah.
No camo, but checkered. I have a fuzzy checkered jacket on and leather overalls. So this aesthetically on Instagram, this is going to look great on YouTube and Instagram. And
you're stunting on me.
No, this is like, I want your shoes. You've got these like black and white Nikes on, and, yeah, so big Heat fan from Florida. Where in Florida are you from?
West Palm Beach, South Florida, born and raised.
Oh my gosh.
Absolutely.
That's bougie.
Did the whole, I'm like so ignorant. I never knew it was rich until I left. I knew there's rich parts, but I thought everyone had rich parts. I knew Trump lived there, but I was like, that's that. And
did you ever see Trump?
I did work at his house once, when I was like 15.
Oh my God. And doing what?
I'm a stagehand, like working sound and stuff. So it's like we had an event at his spot, and he was telling us not to move the equipment on his new marble flooring. And I was like, okay. I was like 15, and back then you're like, wow, that's kind of crazy. And
back then he was just a celebrity.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like years later, it's like, whoa, everything was wacky, But cool.
Did you like get to meet him and shake his hand and stuff?
Nah, that's the one thing he said.
That was the one thing he said.
Yeah, that was it.
That's crazy.
Working the whole time. My dad talked to him, but not me.
Was your dad working too that day with you?
Yeah, it's my dad's company. So I worked for my dad. I was probably like 14, 15. Again, just a stagehand. So we'd set up lights, mic, speakers for whatever venues come into South Florida.
Wow. Did you do any other like famous people's?
Sure. I worked for Lil Wayne, Snoop Dogg, fucking Backstreet Boys in like 5th grade.
Now I get like why you came to LA, not just for comedy, but like you're like an entertainment guy. Like you're in it. You've been in it for a while.
So someone pays me, That'd be wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and your goal is to be a big comic. Like that's you want to be a big stand-up comic. Do you have any other projects going on right now? Just comedy?
Just comedy and doing charitable work with, like I was saying, I am a member of Rough Riders at LA chapter. So we did a shoe drive recently. We do different events, and that's always a focus.
Now, I might sound really stupid. Rough Riders is a predominantly black motorcycle.
I would say I'd say that's definitely fair. Started that way, and
but now is it more? I don't know anything about it, so now you've got to enlighten.
In the motorcycle community, it is expanded around the world. So we are nationwide, we're worldwide.
Yeah.
So technically, it varies chapter by chapter. But if you put the numbers down, probably mostly black people and Hispanic people.
Okay. Because I feel like I've definitely heard you say before, like, I'm in a black motorcycle group and I'm a white guy. Like, I feel like that's one of your jokes. And
well, like when I was in Orlando, there's plenty of white people, but now that I moved here in LA, I am the only white person in that chapter.
I love that. No, I like. It's so funny because you're very mellow today, but I'm used to seeing you like in comedy mode where you've got your voice going and like your storytelling voice and your party voice and like, so this is very different. This is like daytime Coke I've not seen before.
Daytime Coke.
Are you a morning guy?
Am I a morning guy?
Yeah. Are you?
Hell no.
No.
I'm
so this is early
all night,
for you.
wake up at noon guy. It was a good time.
So were you you partying last night?
A little bit. Me and the Accidental Chaos crew. You know,
Oh, okay.
It was a little fun, but.
And Accidental Chaos is a comedy
club.
For lack of a better word, comedy club. I think it's more of like a comedy cave than anything else. Well, cool. The Trump thing, that's crazy. I mean,
just one time, but.
I mean, this isn't going to come out when the day after, but like last night, Trump did announce that he is going to run for president again.
I've seen that.
Yeah,
a lot of my friends in South Florida are very excited, I'm sure.
Yeah. I won't ask you if you're a Trump fan because I like our friendship the way it is.
Well, honestly, I don't think I'll even offend you. I've been working on like my first ever political bit, and I feel comfortable saying it now. I say it to everyone.
Okay.
Or, comedically, I draw it out longer and such.
Yeah.
But basically, I've been saying like, I don't know much about politics. I felt that way my whole life. Like, as a man, I don't know how to talk about another man I never met. Because no matter what you do, everything is through the media. Everything is someone's paid you have opinion of someone you never met. So it's like when Trump won, well, actually, even before that, when I was like growing up, people would always be like, George Bush is a terrible president. George Bush is stupid. What do you think? And I'm like, I'm in 5th grade.
Yeah.
Like maybe his job's a little harder than you think. And maybe we're all just kind of peons and we don't really get it.
Sure.
We just have to complain. So it's like, when Trump won, wasn't a fan, but I felt like the more I lived out here, I felt like the more people made me like him because I just don't like people that are like losers and negative and like whiner. It just annoys me. And after a few years, I just feel like I love Biden for the exact same reasons. Like, I just hate doing mics every night. And someone's like, Biden's stupid. Biden's not smart. Like, Biden will never know who you are, and you work at Walmart. Like, how do you have so much confidence saying you're smarter than, like, the president? I don't get people having that much confidence. Anyway, so. I
think it's just, like, one of those things where, because they're, in a way, the most famous person in the country, like, outside of standard celebrities, and they're making policy and everything, everybody feels like they get to have an opinion about it. And now there's more opinions, right, than there's ever been.
It's just like everyone's saying they're mentally unfit and all that. I'm like, you don't remember that with the guy you liked before where it was all bullshit? Can't you logically apply that now? Or it's like,
well, that's the thing is like you can always be critical.
You can be critical.
Like, you can always be, I don't know.
It's like we both do comedy. I know comedians I'll honestly be like, I think I'm better than Dave Chappelle. And I'm like, you live in a fantasy world.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of delusion in comedy.
That's my point. So any person that walks up and they're like, I'm a manager at AutoZone. I think I'm smarter than the president. I'm like, you can say that with straight face? Really?
That's why I like you.
Really?
Because I feel like you have you have your dreams and like your goals and the things that you want to accomplish in comedy and in life. But I also feel like you've always struck me as somebody who like knows exactly where they are at any given time. And like, I mean, I've seen late night Coke where maybe you don't know where you are. No, I'm just kidding.
That's true. I drink a little bit.
But like, you always know where you're at, or like that, there's just like a sincerity about you that I've always appreciated.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I think keep working on that bit because I think it's a take that a lot of people don't have. Like it's kind of a middle, the political jokes that I have, I try to do like middle of the road where people don't really know what side you're going to fall on, but they get confused because they're expecting you to be like, oh, Trump, oh, Biden, like, yeah. Would you ever run for office?
Hell yeah.
You would?
Hell yeah.
What would you run as?
President.
You want to run for president?
Of course I want to run for president.
And what would your slogan be?
We made it.
But if you haven't been elected yet?
This is America. We made it.
We made it. I mean, maybe you should run as Trump's VP.
That could
be a good test,
I would
right?
love to do that. Absolutely.
Would you find like, most presidents are married. You're not married.
Not married.
So if you had to find a presidential wife, Where would you go?
Mariah Carey.
You'd go for Mariah Carey.
I love Mariah Carey.
You wouldn't just go on Tinder.
Fuck Nick Cannon. I love Mariah Carey from the bottom of my heart. Bottom of my penis, that's when the love is real.
Okay.
When you
the bottom
your
of your penis. Yeah. That's a place that not a lot of people get to go to, right?
I try to stay in touch with myself. I try to really be on top of it.
Oh my God. The bottom of my penis. That's so funny. I feel like more people should say that. That's wow. I gotta get better on this podcast. That was funny, and I had nothing. I was unprepared for that, and now
we got an hour.
I gotta wake up. I'm not a morning person either. We're doing this in the middle of the day.
Okay.
Oh my God. So Coke and Mariah Carey, the President and First Lady of the United States of America.
Let's make it happen.
How old are you?
I'm 31.
Okay, so you've got 4 more years till you can run.
4 more years. In
4 more years, I will write your name in on the ballot.
Oh my God.
For president.
I will take that.
Because if we get enough write-ins, I mean,
you're like a political
your campaign headquarters can be at Accidental Chaos.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Coke for president at the Accidental Chaos campaign headquarters.
Free Coca-Cola for everybody. All right.
Free Coca-Cola.
Puerto Rican bitches with fat asses for everybody.
Oh my God. And then to beat you, would you run as a Democrat or Republican?
Independent, just to be that guy. I mean, realistically, probably a Democrat, but I want to play that side.
Independent's tough because then people can't vote for you. If you're a registered independent, you can't vote in the primaries. But
right.
Yeah,
right,
so that's why you kind of set yourself up for a disadvantage.
See, this is what I'm learning from you. All right.
I mean, I don't know that much, but I have lived through a political campaign. Yeah, I have. So let's get into it.
Sure.
Let's get into this story because I feel like it's probably pretty detailed.
Not bad. Yeah.
I don't know a lot about it. All I know is it involves skydiving.
Skydiving with the Prince of Saudi Arabia.
So start from the beginning. Set us up. Take us down the journey of what it's like to be in Coke's world.
Sure, I'd be happy to say that. I mean, I moved here a little before I met you. I moved here about 5 years ago with $1,600, no job, no friends, and a bunch of white privilege I've learned. All right. And I just went on Craigslist. I was here for 2 hours and wanted to find a spot that let me move in cash. So I went to a spot in Westwood. It was $800 a month. Wow. I had to share that room with. Ultimately, there's up to 13 people in the house. Okay, sometimes 9, up to 13. How many people are on the couch? 4 to a room, 3 to a room. I paid the most, so I had one other person in my room.
And how many bedrooms were there?
Just go with 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 13 people in a 4-bedroom house.
Yeah. I mean, that's the worst. Usually it's 9 to 10 on the normal days,
Wow.
But they let people stay on the couch. It's all a big scam, just accepting cash, raking in money. And it was kind of funny for me because I'm from South Florida and I lived with all Muslims. All right, all Muslims. I never met any Muslims in my life. Everyone thought I joined ISIS pretty quickly.
Are you religious?
I wouldn't say I'm religious, but I like to learn and be open to it. I have done Ramadan the past 4 years, the fasting thing with the Muslims. But that's just because I'm competitive. All the Muslim friends are doing it. I'm like, I want to do it.
You're a competitive faster?
I mean,
some people are competitive eaters.
And
some people are competitive eaters.
I go both ways. Yeah. I can be fat. I lose weight once a year with Ramadan.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, I used to live with all them best friends. Probably the best 2 years of my life. Really loved it. We did a bunch of drugs.
Okay.
No drinking though, But
no drinking, just drugs.
Yeah, they don't drink alcohol. So
that's right.
They're doing lean and cocaine and all stuff. They're no alcohol, and they're looking at me weird eating pepperoni bacon pizza.
Oh my gosh! What an insight! Most people think that people who are super religious that don't drink don't do anything.
Yeah, they're still in college at UCLA.
Yeah, that's true. I used to always see them when I lived in Westwood at the hookah bars. And and I was like, something here, these guys are not sober, even though they sort of say they are.
Facts.
So
definitely facts. But no, I just loved the time there, and that's where I learned a lot. I had wacky roommates. Mm-hmm. And I was out here for about a year. I started doing normal Lyft, where I rented a car through Lyft. And through an opportunity at one of my coworkers at 7-Eleven, I do the same job now, but Uber Black. So that's just, I rent a black SUV for $600 a week. But that lets me work the job where I drive celebrities and athletes and this and that. Mm-hmm. So I moved here. I mean, we got the time, right?
Oh yeah, we've got nothing but time.
We got the time. I mean, again, we talk about real names. I go by Coke. Coke is a nickname, not selling drugs. Big fan of Coca-Cola. Okay, guys, sincerely.
He's got 12 Coca-Cola t-shirts. So this is not a bit.
A million. Like, I would be in jail in a week if I was out here selling drugs with the name Coke going on stage, all right? I really like soda. But my real name, as I tell everyone, is Matthew Kerrigan. I was raised Irish Catholic. And, when I moved here, that's how it was. I lived with all my Muslim friends. About a year and a half in, I came home one day where a girl, when I was driving Lyft, explained to me I'm Jewish now. And that's confusing probably for most of you. I was about 26 at the time, and my birth mother died when I was 2. I always say I got over it, so should you. And my stepmother raised me since I was 3. I refer to her as my mom, but my birth mother was Jewish by blood. She did convert to Catholicism before she married my dad because he has good penis. But what I've learned is, even though she converted, even though they chose to raise me Catholic my whole life, when I met a lot more Jewish people in LA, they said, no, you're Jewish. If you came out of a Jewish vagina, doesn't matter what your family thinks or how you're raised. True. Strangers tell me what to do now, they tell me what to eat. It's fun. But when I came home that day and I explained to my Muslim roommates after a year and a half of doing drugs, guys, I'm Jewish. They all got really scared of me. And they're like, oh, no, you cannot go to Israel. This will change everything. I'm like, wow. Come on, guys. Like, we can eat bacon together. Like, I don't like all the division,
Yeah.
So I went on this, Jews, people give you a free trip to Israel. A lot of fun. I don't even know where to start with that. I still love America and Puerto Rican bitches with fat asses.
So you did go to Israel.
I went to Israel.
You did the birthright.
They renamed me Ran. My Catholic name is Michael. My real name is Matthew. My Jewish name is Ran. I go by Coke.
I love it. Just put all that on a birth certificate.
I guess.
Just confuse people.
I guess, but it was fun. And like the very first day I went to LAX to go on this trip, I showed up high as hell. All I have is a book bag for 2 weeks. But I moved to LA with just a book bag full of basketball jerseys.
Sure.
So I figured I'd find a washer in Israel. It's not going to kill me. But I looked very suspicious to all the LAX people.
Okay.
They came over instantly, like, why are you here? And I'm like, I don't know. They told me I'm Jewish and I get a free trip. I'm like really high. And they're like, what? And they asked me all these screening questions. And everything was going fine until eventually, like, well, who do you live with? And once I said Fahad and Raif and Muhammad, like everything got really serious. And they thought I had a bomb in my bag.
Oh my God.
They took my shoes off. They took my chain. They took my passport and just sent me on a flight to Israel. We were like, we'll give it to you back eventually. They stuck a wand in my pants looking for a bomb, and they just found my bomb-ass dick. Gotta say it. But either way, it ruffled a lot of feathers, and a lot of them felt like I didn't really care about Jewish shit, which I don't, I guess, but I'm not.
Well, you don't, it. I mean, it's not like you grew up going to temple, and like you didn't have bar mitzvah, whatever, whichever one.
Bar mitzvah.
Like you didn't have any of that, so you really don't know anything.
They invited me. Yeah. I had a Jewish grandmother, great-grandmother. None of them said I was Jewish. They were just like...
How do you have Jewish family members, though, and none of them...
That's what people think. I was raised under a rock. It's because out here, it's a thing. In Florida and the rest of America, people will just respect you and let you be your religion. Out here, they're like, no, this is a forced choice.
Oh, my gosh. Do you ever get stopped by the Hasidic Jews? Do they ever ask
I live with
Jewish?
them now in Beverlywood.
You live with Hasidic Jews?
Yeah, I live in an all Hasidic Jewish neighborhood in Beverlywood.
Okay, we'll get to that next. But that sounds like part 2 of this
When
story.
I lived in Westwood, people, first of all, the joke is, at least people from South Florida all thought I joined ISIS. You know what I'm saying? Which that was the funniest part, when I'm doing Ramadan and we went to the hills and killed goats and slit their throats. Like my first,
in LA?
Yeah, like my first week I did that out here, like Chino Hills.
Oh my God.
With all my Muslim friends. So my Snapchat was popping. Everyone's like, what the fuck is he doing?
Yeah.
He's been there for
How do you kill a goat? How did you do it?
Well, to be fair, I didn't. Okay. They each did. As each Muslim man on Eid is the name of the religious holiday.
Yes.
You have to go out to the desert, kill a goat as a man yourself, then cook it and serve it to the homeless and have a big festival that night.
Okay.
All I show is them killing goats dressed in crazy clothes. So everyone's freaking out, They don't know we're doing nice things after. It was funny, I didn't give a fuck.
I've also heard goat meat is good.
Yeah,
it's delicious. Yeah,
Absolutely.
I mean, when I went to Africa, they were big on goats there.
Nice.
I didn't have any, but I heard good things.
I heard good things.
Yeah.
I like it. But can't remember what else, this and that. But all I can tell you is I lived with all of them, came home when they told them Jewish. They all freaked out. They sent me to Israel. That was fun. A lot of Jewish rules. And going back to, I live in Beverly Woods now. Like when I was in Westwood 3 years ago, I remember Jewish women wouldn't even shake my hand. I remember that. I was like trying to talk to her, and she's like, I can't touch you. I'm Jewish. And I was like, what? And she's like, it'll make me goy if I touch you. And I thought she called me gay. I wasn't sure what that meant. But but goy means non-Jewish. And not every Jew's like that. Very small minority. But she was serious, and she thought she couldn't touch me back then. But now Jewish women have to suck my dick to save their race. You understand how the dynamics have changed? Like, where I live, everyone wants me to date their daughter now. And I'm like, I commit a lot of crimes. Like, but they don't listen. They just hear Jewish.
Yeah.
So it's a little strange living out here going one side to the other.
You went from being a Jewish enemy to being a Jewish hero.
Yeah, I like me.
That's an incredible transformation. Like, you come to LA from Florida, and people already make fun of that. Like, just anybody, every time somebody moves to LA from Florida and they're like, I'm from Florida. And they're like, of course you are. Like, how many times have people said that to you? Like, of course you are. And now it's like, you've come and you've converted, but you didn't convert because you were already it. Right? Like, that's crazy.
I'll take it.
So you go to Israel.
I go to Israel.
You come back. You make it back.
I come back.
No problems coming back into the country. Just problems at LAX.
No problems coming back into the country. They all were fine with me then. But I guess I should include this. I work at the 7-Eleven in Westwood. I think it's safe for me to say this now. But back then, Trump was looking for legal immigration, explicitly in Southern California at 7-Elevens. So my coworkers, I won't say his name, but he was a legal Mexican. And he's got to train me. So he quit out of fear, even though he's lived here his whole life.
Wow.
So he's the one that had the connections that got me the Uber Black job. So he called me after like a week or two and said, hey, if you're comfortable renting a car for $600 a week, it's the exact same job as Uber. You just dress nicer and give them bottles of water. I'm like, cool. So it's like, in a weird way, Trump's racism got me and a Mexican the best jobs of our lives. I'll be clear on that.
Now I understand why you want to run for president, because I think you know some of the loopholes that could actually help people.
Hey, that is that Trump thing too. Yeah, I use the loopholes to my advantage.
Yeah. So can I ask you a question about the Uber thing?
Yes,
like, because you've mentioned a couple of times that you rent a car.
Yes.
Do you think that's a common practice? Like, do you think most people who are driving Uber and Lyft in Los Angeles are renting cars, or do you think they go and buy? You think a lot of it is rental?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the 80% is probably rental. I'm making that number up, but they have like higher. The standards are higher than it used to be. Lyft and Uber used to have an older car. Now it has to be like a 2016 and up. Okay. And they have a bunch of shit out here in LA when they don't want to put their own miles on the car. Like most people rent them for their usage.
Wow. So do you have to go each week? Do you rent the same car each week, or is it a new car? So
I keep it 24/7. I don't pay any of the mechanics on it, insurance or anything. But as long as I give him $600 a week, I could do whatever.
And if you were to do rental car companies care? Like, is that something you're not supposed to do, or does nobody really? Everybody just kind of ignores like what's going on.
Do they care about
like that you're using a rental car to drive Uber?
Oh, well, in my case, to answer your question about Lyft and Uber, most people probably rent normal cars. In my case, I just rent from one guy. So with these SUVs, they're called fleets, and some guys own like 5 or 6 SUVs. So it's not like a real company. It's just a guy in Thousand Oaks.
Got it. It's like the guys that park in the parking lot. When I go to the Comedy Store, there's always like 3 dudes who are parking their cars there that don't want to pay for the parking lot, but they're waiting for their like car, their clients to be done for the night. And then the parking guy comes and is like, you guys can't park here if you're not going to pay. And they scream at him. Like they're like the older, crankier version of you.
I'll take it. I hope I don't ever get old and cranky, but we'll see.
So you guys get the jobs of your lives driving Uber Black.
Correct. And that's the same week I come back from Israel. So one of my roommates at the time, his name's Raif, he's from Morocco. He told me, he's like, hey, he's kind of like the bitch boy for the Saudi prince whenever he comes to town. All right, he pays him $1,000 a week to hang out with him, and he pays for him with everything. But he's also kind of like his little servant boy, like it's kind of understood. Okay. We hang out. It's friendly, but it's like do this.
Yeah.
So that being said, he was coming to town, and that's where he hit me up. I've only had this car for about a week. And he's like, hey, man, do you want to pick up the Prince of Saudi Arabia from LAX for $150?
No big deal.
I'm like, $150 in Florida money is like a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, of course I'll do that. And as soon as I meet him, giant bags, they throwing him in the car right there at LAX. And the very first thing he says to me, he's like, why you, he gets in the car, he goes, why you think I have all these bags? You think I'm a sissy girl? You think I come here to shop? And I was like, I don't know. I didn't really think about it at all. Like, I'm just putting bags in the car.
You're like, I'm just trying to make $150, dude.
Yeah, I'm trying to make $150.
No judgment.
I don't know why you're so insecure, It was like a weird first conversation ever because he explains to me because he's trying to be prideful. He's a cool guy, but he was just like, he's like, oh, well, I come here to skydive, just so you know. These are all parachutes. I have my own plane. I come here to skydive.
Wow.
And I was like, really? He goes, yeah, we can't really skydive. You can, but it's frowned upon to skydive in Saudi Arabia because it's considered gay.
Wait, why is it considered gay?
You have to be attached to a man.
Oh,
to learn to do it. So it's not illegal or anything like that, but they're also like,
I'm confused because I have friends who have gone to the Middle East and spent significant amount of time. I've, friends who've been in the wars over there, and they say that men over there hold hands with each other. Yeah. And that there's a lot of sort of what we would assume here is like a gay thing because they are not allowed to they're not allowed to have contact with women in public. And so then they end, people still need affection. So that's fascinating.
Yeah.
That
as a guy that lived with 9 to 13 Muslims, I will say that they're not gay, but they do a lot of things that I think are gay. But they're not gay. Yeah. But they'll like walk up and sit on the couch, just rub my shoulders and shit. I'm like, we are not doing that. And then, what are you doing?
Is it a sexual thing? Like if you were to turn around and be like, hey, do you want to
Nah, they would
suck my pee-pee?
They're super anti-gay. But they're just comfortable holding hands and like weird things. I'm like, I don't like that. Yeah. But they're not gay. I'll tell you that much, all right?
It's so interesting. But obviously in need of affection. That's that's very interesting.
Well, okay, I should include this, though. This is the part, again, I got a lot of stories. I got a ridiculous life. I know this probably sounds like a lie. I love all of it. But I got video. I got friends. But the second thing he explains to me was, after he's like, I'm here to skydive. He goes, and actually, I come out to West Hollywood because I am gay, and it is easier to be gay out here. And I was like, and I mean, this is LA. I already lived here. To me, everyone's gay in the city. All right, good. Like 90% of people are gay. Yeah. Not the most shocking thing to meet someone that's gay. To me. Yeah.
Right. Or bi.
Or bi. Point. You know. And he was funny. I love the guy. Hilarious. Very comfortable with his skin. He was making all sorts of dick sucking jokes. We were hanging out the whole day.
To clarify, for everybody, this is the prince you're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah. And okay. I just want to
yes, the prince of Saudi Arabia. To be clear, not the main prince. Okay, not Mohammed bin Salman, not the guy killing people. All right. There's literally hundreds of princes. Yeah. Which is why I can say the story, and I know you can't figure out who it is, except for my Saudi friends who know exactly who it is.
They're not gonna do anything.
I don't know. And that was the thing again, because he's super cool, super comfortable, but gay.
Yeah.
Fucking hilarious though. And like I said, not a big deal to me. Very comfortable with his skin. We went to a French restaurant in Wilshire, I remember, because he stayed at the Beverly Hilton. And I'm driving around all day. He's paying me. He's like, and eventually I'm like, you don't think I'm gay, do you? He's like, oh, no. You're a funny driver guy. I am Saudi Prince. I have these phones. I have fuck all who I want on this. I fuck any guy I want. And I was like, fuck yeah, dude.
Wait, was he on Grindr?
Was on Grindr.
Oh, God.
Show me stuff. Well, I've never seen Grindr. I don't know what he's showing me.
There's a Saudi prince 0.5 miles from where. Wow, that's great. I love it. Okay.
Well, he also hides his identity a lot. Because he was actually born in California. He was the first guy to explain to me I can't go in and out of the HOV lane the way I want. Like in Florida, you can. You have to do it. California has these little special spots so I let you in.
Right.
And I would just do it. And he's like, it's illegal, right? And I was like, no, I didn't know that. And he's like, yeah, I was born in California. And he's like, all the royal family's born in California. And I did not know that. He's like, we're American citizens first. And then he explained to me how he likes to go around as not the Prince of Saudi Arabia. He likes to use his American passport so people treat him normal, He's like, every now and then I'll be across the world using my American passport and some Muslim will just start bowing to me and I'll be like, damn it. They caught me. This guy was really cool and really funny, really transparent.
That's how you know that they really do have control of us. Some people think they don't. But the fact that...
Who are we talking about? The Jews or Muslims?
No, we're talking... No, the Saudis. Like, they control... Well, they control Vegas for sure now. But, I think everybody thinks that this is the land of the free. But, we won't get into that, but it's just. I'm learning things listening to you. So
he can skydive. To him, he's free.
He can be gay. He can skydive without people thinking he's gay.
But his proposition to me was, if I drove him to Palm Springs, basically, he already had the parachutes, he already had the plane. So he's like, you can skydive with me if you take me out there. And I figured I had to say yes because they'll kill you if you don't. So I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, dude. We drove out there. But I should say one other part. That was the next day. The first day, we only went to get French food, and he took to the Beverly Hilton. Hung out for 4 hours.
Wow.
As soon as he got out the car, after making dick-sucking jokes, funny guy all day, Raif instantly turns and goes, did he say he was gay? And I was like, yeah, what? He's been talking about it all day. Like, what do you mean? He's like, you don't understand. He's like, I know his wife. I know his kids. He's never spoken of this. He's never said he's gay. He's like, what did you do? Why did you bring the gay out of him? Why did you do this? And I'm like, what did I do?
The straightest man in America, Coke.
Yeah.
It gets any closeted gay guy to admit.
Hey, I love the gays. He was super cool. He's calm. That's all I care about. All right, just like yourself. I don't care if you're trans, gay, whatever. Just like yourself. Because if you don't like yourself, I don't like you, and it's gonna annoy me hanging out with you. You know,
that's true.
Be confident. Be proud of yourself. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You know, and I'd pick on him. Oh, okay. So yeah, and he's freaking out like the whole like he's gay, and I'm like, I don't know, but nice guy. Went out to Palm Springs the next day. Skydived with him. I know it's not. I don't have a good story about doing it. It's not that exciting. I drove 2 hours and fell in the sky about 60 seconds.
Was it scary?
It was, but I was also attached to the guy.
Yeah.
So it's like I knew I was going to fall.
And I'm sure it didn't feel gay because you're just like, I want to land. You know?
No. Sexuality is the last thing I'm thinking while skydiving.
Yeah, exactly. That's so funny. So you did it. You guys all went. You have to have a special skydiving plane. What?
I'm steal your drink, please.
Why? You need it?
Yeah. There's no
You need
water
it that
over there.
bad?
I do.
You're gonna steal. He's gonna steal my drink right now. You can have it. It's all yours.
For the rest of it.
Oh, the things I do for my podcast guests.
Room for rent. Shout
Things
out.
I do. Okay, so you go skydiving. Is the plane? I assume he rented the plane. That he doesn't.
I think so. He jumped like 8 times. I only fell 1 time. You just go back in and jump out again. So that's where it's like, it's 8:30 in the morning. I'm standing in the field by myself, and I'm like, all right, that wasn't really worth driving 2 hours for.
He's like addicted to skydiving.
Yeah. Well, I heard him have with Raif when we passed UCLA Hospital, where he never said what it was, but I heard him say about like at the time 3 years ago he beat something over there. He had treatment, he beat something, and he's like, I also started skydiving 3 years ago. So now I'm like, okay, I get it. You beat cancer, now you're gay, now you're skydiving, you're free.
Living his best life.
Living his best life. Yeah. That's how I viewed it. You know.
Wow.
But
that's crazy. I met a guy in Mexico once that was a skydiving videographer. And I said that really weird, but he said that one time, you know, like for the most part, parachutes always open. Like very few people die.
I hope so.
But he said that one time he said one time videotaped a guy, his parachute didn't open, and they have video of him like plunging to his death.
Awesome.
I was like, that would be enough for me to get out of the business. You know, like if I had that tape like on my hands, I wouldn't. So the fact that he went up and did it 8 times, like back to back to back.
Free man.
That's crazy. How many of you were there? It was you and him and your buddy?
And Raif, yeah.
That was it.
That was it.
Why did I think that you had a story about skydiving with Ja Rule?
Ja Rule took me on tour.
Oh, he took you on tour.
He didn't go skydiving.
Oh, I thought he went skydiving with you. Okay, I thought Ja Rule was coming into this story at some point, but another controversial character. I mean,
well, the day I drove him was the day that Netflix documentary dropped.
Oh, the Fire Festival one.
Fire Festival. So,
oh my God.
I picked up Ja Rule's same place, Beverly Hilton. I picked up his DJ and his manager. I'm driving around LA, and that's where they made their proposition. That's how this always happens with my job. Not always with Ja Rule, but this is how it happens. Where it's like, you seem cool. Are you free this weekend? And I'm like, yeah, I got no kids. And they're like, well, we are Ja Rule's people. If you feel comfortable, we want to pay you to be our driver. And you take them to, he had one in San Diego, one in Pomona. Different shows he had, you know? And again, fuck yeah. If you don't, then the Saudi prince will kill you. You know, somehow, if you don't fuck with Ja Rule, prince will kill you.
You're a yes man, but like it always works out for you.
I like money and good stories for comedy.
And podcasts. Yeah.
But everyone that day was freaking out. They're like, oh my God, he's a bad guy. This new documentary dropped. What do you think about a Coke? I'm like, I don't fucking know. I'm just driving. Like, everyone's hitting me up on Instagram because I was taking little pictures. Like, I'm with Ja Rule.
Yeah. I remember that.
But I remember it came up on the news when we were in the car, the radio station. They're like, Ja Rule's in LA after Fire Festival drop, blah, blah. And I remember him, his managers, DJ, all started laughing.
Oh,
and
I'm sure.
And I'm thinking it was like an evil laugh for a second, you know? But Ja Rule was, and I mean this sincerely, the nicest, most humblest man I've met in my life. bar none. And I've been gifted a lot of nice people in my time out. You can just tell. He radiates it. Just a very down there nice
He's also
guy.
been in the business for a while.
Exactly. And that's what we talked about that. He's like, I don't want to beef. He's like, I'm too old. He's like, I just want to play my hit songs, make people happy, make my money, and go home. He's like, this is my life, just making people happy. And I love the guy. But he was honest in the sense that we're like, everyone was roasting about the Fire Festival thing. And he was talking about it. He's like, fuck, man. He's telling his manager, he's like, fuck, no one trusts me. He's like, no one trusts me right now. His manager was like, well, would you trust you? And he's like, no, I wouldn't trust me either. He's like, it was that fucking white guy. He tricked me. He's like, but
that's
like,
what's true. I mean, that's what came out about him is that,
but that
he was kind of like paid to endorse the deal, and the guy ended up being a total con. Like, I never really thought Ja Rule was like as guilty as the other guy. So
the nicest, most humblest man I met. I don't.
Are you still in touch with him? Are you guys buddies? No.
During COVID, when I stopped driving, I lost touch. But if you see this Ja Rule, it's me, Coke.
Yeah, we'll tag him.
Oh, he renamed me too. I'm like, my name's Coke, and I tell him a story. My real name's Matthew, and I tell him Ron, and I tell him Michael, and he just like stares at me. He's like, we're gonna call you Maddie. We're all gonna call you Maddie. I'm like, why'd you pick a different name? Yeah, I mean, it's close, but yeah, they all.
You're like a name chameleon.
They all called me Maddie the whole time.
What's the worst nickname you've ever had?
Cream cheese. Cream cheese would probably be it.
Why was it cream cheese?
Because I'm white.
Because you're white.
That's not as thought through as it was by my boy Eddie Cruz and his dad growing up, Puerto Ricans.
He must have been
just call me cream cheese.
Like, that's not the food I would think of to call a white person. If I'm like, and I'm white, and that's like snowflake, cracker, flour, sugar. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of like snow bunny that for girls, especially like blonde white girls. No, I don't. My nickname, it wasn't my nickname, but like the couple times that I got bullied growing up, people would call me Maria Diarrhea, which is not fun. Not fun. Yeah. Oh, Maria. I mean,
kids are cruel.
There's a lot of things they are, but like cream cheese. Like people have called like people with cellulite, oh, like she's got a cream cheese ass or whatever, because it looks like, or like cottage. I guess it's cottage cheese. Cottage cheese. Yeah. That's what it is.
Cream cheese.
So you went. So okay.
Cream cheese ass, girl.
Yeah, that too. But like, oh God. No, thank you.
I'll take my
like Honey Boo Boo's mom's ass probably looks like that. Anyway, we don't body shame on this podcast, but
I do.
Now you've got some images in your head.
I fuck ugly girls, but I make fun of them.
Yeah, I like your bit about having sex with girls that look like Tommy Pickles or whatever. That's a great bit.
I fucked one bald chick, and it kind of did traumatize me. All right, she was not the most attractive, but she liked X-Files. I like X-Files. Trying to be past looks, But yeah, she shaved her head bald to donate to him with cancer. And then all the pressure's on me that I got to keep fucking her now because then your friends are going to think you're a dick because you stopped fucking a bald girl. I didn't want to fuck her. It was weird. That's all I'm trying to say. So from the back, it's like a giant baby. All right? It was a giant glistening head baby. And it was like Tommy Pickles. I don't know why. It's a boy baby. I didn't like that night. All right? I'm back to fucking hoes, single, letting you know, have hair. That's all I want. Okay.
I'm going to laugh if you're not single when this episode comes out. Like if something happens, you meet the woman of your dreams and you're over here like, I know Ja Rule, I know the Prince, ladies, I'm single. Yeah. And then you're not.
I almost fucked one of your friends the other day, but I'll tell you that after the...
You fucked one of my friends?
Almost. She was trying to have sex with me. But I didn't do it. I will talk about that
That's weird because I don't have a lot of friends. So
definitely someone I know you know.
It might have been my mom.
I wish it was your mom. Your mom's hot. Yo, I remember that.
My mom's a very
mom
pretty lady.
Hot.
Yeah. No, she's a good lady. It wasn't my mom because my mom's not in LA anymore. But yeah, we're
gonna get you more friends.
I don't, I'm kind of a small group person. I think I network. Don't get me wrong, but I consider you a friend.
I was about to say that. I consider you a friend.
I consider
the same way I think you're friends with this person.
Yeah.
Like you sent me a card I still have on my desk for the Christmas card and stuff.
Oh yeah, I got to figure out what
very sweet of you. I really appreciate
Christmas card this year is going. This episode will probably come out in the new year, but I got to figure out what that's going to be. So so just backing up for a second, you go skydiving, with the Saudi prince, and that's
true.
All fine and dandy.
It's true.
And then
I can tell you a couple of add-on things there.
Yeah, I mean definitely. I was going to say if there's anything else to that.
Oh yeah, no. Hanging out with the guy was just such a mental mind trip because like we hung out a lot. Very funny, cool guy. Like I said. I liked how confident he was. I remember we were driving to the skydive. We pulled over to the side of the road, and he took off all his crazy Muslim shit. And he was wearing like a tight-ass little ACD shirt. Like real, like no sleeves, his nipples were coming out.
Oh.
And I just remember he's looking at me laughing at him when he took it out. He's like, why you laugh at me? You think I look like a sissy girl? You think I'm a sissy girl? And I was like, that's a better word than I was going to say. But, but.
He seems like somebody that probably wants to be dominated. Like he wants you to be like, yeah,
maybe.
you're so gay. Like you should be ashamed.
Degraded,
like,
maybe. He's a skinny guy.
Well, degraded. That's a good word.
Maybe.
Because he was like expecting you to roast him.
He was a lot, yeah.
Get him on roast.
I
battle.
was roasting him a lot too, though. To be fair, all right. After we hung out,
okay.
I was like, it's like one other silly example is we went to the casinos, San Bernardino casinos.
Sure.
And as a Muslim, you can't use ill-gotten gains, like bad money, drug money, anything that's bad. So in his mind, he's like, all the winnings he'd win at the tables, he'd just give to people because it's unpure money. So it's not like thousands, like 500, whatever's around him. He'd just be like, oh, I won, here you go, oh, here you go. And I'm just sitting there, I'm like,
wow.
Like you told me you suck dick, but now you can't gamble. Like I don't get it. Like he sucks dick, but he can't eat bacon. I don't know how this works.
He should have just given you the money.
I wish he did not.
I mean,
he also made me pay for my own recording of my skydiving. Skydiving was free, but I had to pay for the recording.
So he's handing people hundreds of dollars at a casino that he's winning on whatever roulette, whatever the fuck, and then he can't. And then what is wrong with these people?
I don't know.
They're out here.
He was very generous, but he was also very paranoid of people taking advantage of him. He was really, really paranoid of people taking advantage of him.
Yeah, I could see that.
He checked every receipt, everything. He's like, blah, blah, blah. He just doesn't want to feel like you're using him.
But I just feel like I would want to give the money to somebody who I knew was helping me. Like somebody in a casino is not doing anything for me.
Facts.
But like if you're working for me, I would give you, because I'm going to get more out of you if the more money I give you.
I can work for you if that's what you want to do. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's just so much that you
I'm here to work for Maria.
No. I'm not making.
I am hired.
Enough money to pay you what you deserve to be paid, Coke.
That's nice. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so he was paranoid. So then after the skydiving, like, did you guys go to dinner?
No.
Anything like that? You just came back to LA?
One time I can remember at the French restaurant. Yeah, I just came back to LA. I honestly can't remember.
And then was that the end of your experience with the Saudi prince?
For a few more days we did stuff, and we, like that's where the casinos happened and like stuff. We even went to my 7-Eleven, which really made me laugh because like, again, he doesn't care about money. He buy not liquor, but buy all this, whatever, 7-Eleven. Yeah. But I remember we got back in my car, he gave me a styrofoam cup with quarters in it. He's like, take these, protect these. These are for parking. And I was just like, what the fuck? But it showed me he's run out of quarters, but not money. He's like, to him, it's just a parking token.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's like, these are valuable.
It's like Chuck E. Cheese pennies or whatever.
Yeah. It was like...
Which is funny too, because for the most part, meters in LA are cards. Like you just put your credit card in. Like you don't need quarters anymore.
Good point.
But that's crazy. So
crazy.
In terms of was the house that you were living in with all these Muslim people was all men, right? No women.
No. I mean, again, it was a constant rotating door of different roommates. I was there for about 2.5 years.
There were women too, or no women?
There were women.
Okay, wow.
It would go up and down, but probably up to 2 or 3 at a time. There's always like 2 or 3 women, I would say.
And was it a kind of place like where you didn't have any peace? Or was it ever quiet? Like, were there nights where people were like, okay, tonight we're not partying, like everybody just be cool?
I think we got by. It got a little testy towards the end. It gets real hard with that amount of people. It does. But I thought it was the best 2.5 years of my life. I thought we got along swimmingly.
Wow.
I learned a lot about different Muslim people. Like my best friend out here is who I shared my room with, a dude from Iran. And I'll never forget, like the second night we stayed there, they were playing, to answer your question about music, Arabic music in the living room. I'll never forget, we're like in bed, he's on one side, my side. But he was like, what is this fucking bullshit? He's like, what is this music? And then I was like, isn't this your music? And he's like, no, we don't speak Arabic, we speak Farsi. And I was like, I never even heard of that.
Yeah.
I never heard of your language, And it's like, I learned a lot and fuck some good Muslim girls, And it was a good time. Okay. Much easier to get Muslim girls if they don't know you're Jewish. All right, let me just tell you that.
100%.
Does that make me a piece of shit, or does that make her racist? All right, you decide, Camera.
Oh my God.
You decide.
Like if I moved to LA and I told my parents, "Hey, I found a place that has really cheap rent, but I have to live with 13 Muslim people, the Muslim thing wouldn't bother them, right? Like that part, I think that's very cool, like on a cultural level.
I mean, there was a couple Asians.
But the number of people, I don't, they would have come and gotten me. So I think what you did was very bold in many ways and probably unsafe at times. But
I mean,
it's amazing. Like most people wouldn't be able to survive that living experience.
I definitely planned I was going to fail out here because I only moved here with $1,600. I thought I'd be here for 6 months, have a good story, go back to Florida.
Yeah. But I think I remember when I met you, you were kind of still in that mindset. Like, I think I met you like at Cinema Bar or something outside of Mike.
I was taking the bus everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. And you were like, yeah, I'm just here. I don't know how long I'm here. Like, we'll see what happens. And I was like, I don't think he's going anywhere. Like, I don't know. You seemed... it just takes a certain amount of resilience to live in LA. Sure. It really does. And so if you can figure it out and make it work, then
I can't complain.
A lot of people can't. A lot of people who have a lot more resources than you had when you got here can't make it work. So that's, I think that's something to be very proud of. So now you live with Hasidic Jews.
I do live in an all Hasidic Jewish neighborhood now.
Now, who are you? What kind of people are you living with now?
I live with the owner of the 7-Eleven I work at.
And is he a Hasidic Jew?
He is Jewish, but he hates Jews. He hates them much more than me. I'm just mocking them and learning. He just hates them.
But he's Jewish.
Yeah, he's like old, right? 70s.
Okay.
It's like by Century City, Beverly Woods. So for him, it all used to be farm. That was his parents' house. So the neighborhood was built around him. Mm-hmm. He's not that Jewish. He married an Ecuadorian woman, had kids.
Okay.
Like, his wording to me was this. He said, I did a DNA test. He said, I learned I'm 99.999% Ashkenazi Jew. And I was like, oh, yeah. And he goes, you know what that means? And I was like, no. He's like, it means I come from a lineage of racist pigs. And I was like, oh. And he's like, I love Ecuadorian women. And I was like, I like you. Like the same way I love Puerto Rican women. You think with your dick. And I appreciate that in a man. So me and him are great friends. He just hates his neighbors because he hates them and he thinks they're too much. Because like on Fridays and Saturdays, you're supposed to not use technology. So the neighborhood like told him you got to shut down his 7-Eleven on Fridays and Saturdays. Like they forced, it's very
That's like
forceful.
the most poppin' nights for 7-Eleven.
Exactly. And he's like, I don't have to listen to your rules. Like, not everybody. So he has his grievances, but I'm lucky I live with him. I have my side of the house. He gives me $700 a month. And I'm like,
wow, that's
no
amazing.
Complaints.
That's a steal in Los
I could never
Angeles
quit
now.
7-Eleven. I'm like the indentured servant.
You are, but at the same rate, like,
I ain't complaining.
is this? I mean, the 7-Eleven that you work at must be a pretty nice one.
It's not bad. We sell liquor.
Oh, okay.
So we are next to the VA, so there's a lot of homeless, but that's just LA in general.
Yeah. Do you have any crazy homeless stories?
So many.
Do you have a favorite?
I mean, just top of my head, I'm just going to say about like the lady in the wheelchair. I don't want to say it's favorite, but I'm just going to say the lady in the wheelchair that came in and peed in a cup and threw it on one of the female coworkers. It's hard to get them out.
Was that recent?
Like 8 months ago, probably.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It was like COVID pee.
Yeah.
You could feel it. It stung, It's no bueno.
Oh, that's rough. And then... What did the female?
I brought Ja Rule to 7-Eleven too. Can I?
You did? Yeah.
I brought him there. He was buying condoms to fuck his girl. So I took him there on purpose, knowing he got stopped. So then I ran around and rang him up, which he did not know I worked there. So he's like, "What the fuck kind of driver are you?" And I was like, I just wanted my coworkers to see I was telling the truth. I'm like, "You see, bitches, he's with me. I told you." And they're like, "Oh my god." But I fucking confused the shit out of him. God.
What kind of condoms did he buy? Do you remember?
He did buy Magnum, big ass condoms. Yeah.
Did he buy the Magnum or the Magnum XXL?
XXL, gold wrapper.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was,
wow. They don't sell those at every mini mart. Did he get any dick pills?
No dick pills.
No dick pills. No. None of those Rhino.
I shouldn't say that. I don't know.
I mean, you can say whatever you want.
His side chick of 20 years hit me up. She found me on Instagram after that happened, and she's actually super rich. She made me her driver, and but she just wanted to talk to somebody about Ja Rule that knew they were secretly together.
Oh, okay.
Because it's like I felt like I was like her gay best friend. Like she'd take me to Vegas and talk about Ja Rule and be like, I'm gonna buy him this. How's he looking this? How's he looking this? What do you think? And I'm like, I keep paying me. I think whatever the fuck you want to think, lady. Like, very, very nice woman. And but yeah, he can fuck. I think he's
I mean, he's not old. He's still like pretty young.
20 years.
20. That's a lot. That's love, I think.
That's great. Yeah, she was obsessed. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, but that's the business, man.
But now she's married to one of the most famous comedians in the world.
Oh.
But anyway.
Oh. I think I know who you're talking about. But
yeah, but don't say it.
No, I'm not going to. That's incredible. Yeah, well, good for you. I mean, you're a good listener. You know, like you.
Thank you.
I should probably be a better listener, but you're a good listener. Like we've always had good talks. Like it's always been
absolutely.
It's always been good. So it's like I feel like people probably immediately feel like they can trust you and be comfortable with you, and that's why you're going skydiving with the Prince of Saudi Arabia, and he's telling you that he's gay when his buddy, that's your buddy, is like he's never told me that before.
He's never
because you don't judge like. I don't know. People from Florida aren't really like.
I like people.
Some
of
them are judgmental, but like the ones that move to LA, I think for the most part are kind of open-minded because they wanted to get out of where they were, and I don't know. You've lived a lot of life for.
Oh, it's
31.
Fucking crazy. It's crazy, you know. But I do like, these type of people. I think a lot of rich people can tell I don't even know who they are, so they'll make me their driver. I noticed that too.
Yeah.
Where it's like I'll listen to them talk, and they're like. Talking to Cardi B or something. I'm like, who the fuck is this then? Who am I driving?
Yeah.
You know, it's like a little weird. But
do you have any other notable drives of people where you were like, or after the fact, you're like, that was so-and-so?
This is kind of, I got a million, but it's kind of random. But one that pops in my mind is I picked up the only guy that ever got mad at me for not knowing who he was. Because people ask me all the time, are they snobby? Are they elitist? And usually they're not. They're usually just rich and happy, and I love driving rich people. But the one guy ever that got in my car, he instantly goes, "You don't know who I am? So you didn't notice who I was?" And I'm like starting to drive. I'm like, "Oh, honestly, sir, I don't know. I didn't really look at you." You know, that's my first excuse. So I look back and stare at him. I'm like, "I don't know who you are." And I'll never forget. He's like, "Well, blah, blah, blah. Leo played me in the movie." And I'm like, nailed it. I didn't know his name. I didn't know.
Wait, the real
Wolf of Wall Street guy. Yeah.
Wow. And he was mad you didn't know who he was.
Yes. I'll give him this in a playful way. You should have been
like, "Oh, you're the Quaalude guy." That's what I would have said.
I wish I had said that.
Like I would have made it. I would have busted his balls for sure.
Well, he was all sad. He was saying his wife left him. He's like talking to me about it.
Oh my God.
But he was very deep, and like he asked me to turn down the radio.
Oh wow.
And then he played music from his phone next to his head, which I don't know why he did that, and I didn't know how to ask what was happening. But he just kept talking about life. He's just holding a phone next to his head, playing music. Sad music.
Was he crying?
He wasn't crying, but he was just being honest. Like, my wife left me, blah, blah. I'm really sad. And towards the end, because I'm taking him to Sunset Tower on Sunset. So eventually I was like, "But you are the Wolf of Wall Street guy. Like, aren't you just going to party and get bitches tonight?" He's like, "Yeah, I am. But still, I'm sad."
Oh, my God. That's crazy. How long ago was that?
Pre-COVID. So probably.
Oh, okay. So like 3 years ago.
Something like that.
Wow. Well, I hope he worked it out with his wife, but it sounds like probably that's not going to happen.
I would say I doubt it.
Wow. You should have been like, "Oh, your wife, that gal, that character that Margot Robbie played in the movie." I would have just started going around in circles with that whole like, "You don't know who I am?"
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, a little bit of that, but again, even him, he wasn't too douchey about it. It seemed pretty playful. It wasn't too just a odd
But it
guy.
is a funny like ego trip because there's so many celebrities that like don't want you to like. I've heard a lot that like J-Lo doesn't want people to look her in the eye ever, and I'm sure that's just like an energy thing of like having to give your energy out to somebody. But then there's some people who are like, "You don't know who I am?" Like I feel like T.I. is probably one of those people. "You don't know who I am?" You know?
Oh yeah, I guess
Stuff like that.
He's doing comedy
but like then
now.
it sounds like Ja Rule. You know, you probably know who he is because you can probably figure it out. It's kind of like LL Cool J. Like, even if you didn't know who LL Cool J was, but you saw him walking through, like, a restaurant, you'd be like, "Who is that?"
I remember going to Subway with Ja Rule after a show in San Diego, and I just remember, like, we're in line. He's got a hoodie, but eventually some people notice. And they're all, I think, pretty normal in their reaction. Like, "Oh, it's cool, you know." And they're asking me if I'm, like, his security. I'm like, "No, I'm not. I'm just here." But I just remember one guy in particular was like, "Oh my God, this is Ja Rule." He like almost cried a little bit. He's like, "I'm such a fan." His friends were like, "Dude, it's Ja Rule. Calm down." Like, you don't gotta cry. You know, I love Ja Rule, but very rarely we meet anybody that's like saying he's the GOAT rap or his favorite. You know, he's got his hits.
Yeah.
No,
I mean, I used to listen to Ja Rule all the time. Like, his voice is so iconic. Like,
100%. 100%.
If he came out with new music now, I mean, I think millennials would probably. I don't know if he has. I'm sorry if you haven't. I haven't heard it. But like if he came out with like a hit, with somebody, people would listen to it because his voice would just bring back memories to you, and like that's so important. Well, it's about that time to wrap it up. So
I got a lot of stories of people I drove.
I know. Well, I mean, depending on how this episode does, we'll have you back for part 2.
I would love that.
Or maybe we'll have you back for like a special bonus episode we'll put on the Patreon and really give people like a sneak peek and get into some dirt. But guys, thanks for watching. Coke, where can we find you on social media?
They kicked me off the internet.
No.
I beat the system by putting one more underscore in my name now. So I made another account, which is Coke __RR. Ooh, I beat the system.
On Instagram.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Facebook. I made another one. Again, it's Matthew Kerrigan, but I don't even have a Facebook picture, so that's not a good example.
And your last name is Kerrigan. Yep.
That is like Nancy Kerrigan. I am not related
to her. Like Eleanor Kerrigan, the very funny comedian.
I wrote her on Instagram. I was like, I'm your son. And I started commenting on her show. I'm like, I'm your cousin. Write me back. And first of all, my name on the internet is Coca is my name, but she did not respond. I probably burned that bridge, maybe.
She may not notice. I mean, you'll get to meet her sometime. She's at the store all the time. But
really?
Yeah. All right. So Coke __RR on Instagram.
Yeah.
Matthew Kerrigan on Facebook. Is that it? No TikTok?
Nah, I'm pretty dumb with the internet. That's why I rely on my good friends like Maria here to make these wonderful shows and help me get my name out.
Yeah.
That way I can fuck more Puerto Rican chicks with fat asses.
Yeah, I have no Puerto Rican hookups, but ladies, if you're out there and you see this, especially on YouTube, you know, you get a pretty good sense of who this guy is.
I love you from the bottom of my penis. Never forget that.
From the bottom of his penis, guys. Thanks for tuning in for Room for Rent. My name's Maria Bruggere. You can follow on Instagram at Room for Rent Pod on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, Maria Bruggere YouTube, and I'm blanking because my brain's not working because it's the middle of the day and I'm not awake yet, but you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, at Maria Bruggere, all those things, BRUGGERE. Guys, we'll see you next time.
Yeah. And if you want to do comedy in LA, come to Renegades of Fun on Thursdays at Accidental Chaos. So
yeah, do that. It's an interesting experience.